It's Day Beers Day. Don't worry about class. Just bring a lawn chair and start day drinking en masse. Dierks proved he was shady. He stepped out on Katy. Now Letterkenny's lined up to kick Dierksy's ass.
That fresh produce stand there, that's a beauty.
What do you listen to?
My favorite murder podcast.
Taggart and Torrance podcast.
The produce stand.
Fucking sexy.
It's Thirsty Thursday, and that means we are once again hanging out at the produce stand, podcast paying tribute to the great Canadian show Letterkenny. Now, I know what you're thinking. There are many other podcasts about Letterkenny out there, but this one will go through a proverbial wall for you. I'm Al, your host, and joining me in the room as always is the lovely Tanya, and online we have Squirrely Matt and the vindictive Victor. And joining us this week, he is a man that needs no introduction, but I'll give him one anyway. He is the voice of God, an onion with many layers. He's the Funko Master, bodyguard to the stars, but mostly he's a good guy. He's a really good guy. He may be coming off the bench this week to help us out, but he's no bench warmer. Please join me in making some noise for Dennis.
Wondrous! Oh my god!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Wait.
Oh my god!
I regret nothing.
Welcome back to the produce stand, Dennis.
They call me D1, the delicious one, DDV. The human highlight reel. Great to look at and even better to feel. Too hot to handle, too cold to hold. An unbroken stallion that cannot be controlled. A mountain of a man and sight to behold. Delicious. Dennis Vicious.
Oh, yeah. Oh, baby.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Fucking right.
Yum-y.
All right. Dennis, thank you.
That was so worthy of a season finale.
I know,
episode.
right? Yeah, I'm so excited. So I mentioned it in your introduction, but you're filling in today for, unfortunately, our guest who was scheduled for this week. He's gone MIA. Cool Breeze. I hope you're out there and I hope you're okay. But couldn't get a hold of him. So, and this season, we didn't have a Dennis episode, and I was kind of feeling didn't know how to feel about that. So
Didn't feel right.
Didn't feel right. So
I would have made it to the Ag Hall.
oh yeah, good. Well, I hope you still do. But anyway, it's great to have you here because this episode.
Oh boy.
So you know what? Let's let's get started with where is it? I can't find my goddamn. Oh, here we go.
How are you now?
Today's the lineup is going to be myself, Victor, Tanya, Matt, and Dennis. So I guess I start. And my week has been freaking busy. Oh my God, so busy with work, the podcast with work, and I hosted a couple of events this week at work, just work, and hasn't stopped and continues. And now tonight we were hanging up streamers and balloons for our daughter whose birthday is tomorrow. So this week it just keeps on going and no sign of stopping anytime soon. So I'm just really exhausted. So I hope that I can keep my energy up tonight because this episode we're going to review tonight deserves high energy. So that's my week. Victor, how was yours?
Well, I don't know. It's just the week's a whirlwind. It started with a long weekend for us in Canada, which is great.
Right. It was Monday.
Where we celebrate taking the land from the natives, which is something I guess we celebrated in the States as well. Just a little bit off.
But is Canadian Thanksgiving about that? I don't think it's. I think it's more of a harvest festival, isn't it? It's not about the pilgrims and stuff.
Yeah. Look at the roots. Anyway.
No, I understand like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, so it started with that. Then I listened to your podcast, and I have to give you props.
Oh.
Wow. Yes.
Oh.
Killer.
Oh, thank you.
And Al, you were good too. I was referring to Matt's commercial.
Oh shit,
Victor! Oh man!
Damn you, Victor! You caught me. You caught me in a moment of vanity.
Like, Matt and Al are giving thumbs up. I'm like, what's going on here?
Anyway, but yeah, just really good job, both of you.
Thanks.
And then this week is the beginning of my favorite season, which is the hockey season, of course.
Yeah.
So that's been kind of exciting. We had two nights of Leaf hockey in a row. Unfortunately, tonight I didn't really watch it, which is good because they lost.
Oh.
But anyway, yeah. So just busy week with all kinds of stuff. So it's nice to be able to have hockey back. I'm really excited about that.
What did you think of the debut of the Kraken? Did you watch any of it? No.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. They were down 3-0 quickly, and then they came back to tie, and then they they lost the game in the end. They're not going to be as good as Vegas was in their first year because they don't nearly have as talented crop of players. But whatever, you know, they're the Kraken, and I guess their fans are going to be called crackheads. So there's that.
Oh no, is that what they're calling them already?
No. Oh dear.
All I saw from the Kraken was the Vegas pre-show. You know how they usually put on an elaborate video show on the ice of a Golden Knight battling their foe, and it's impressive. Like only in Vegas can you do something like that. It's pretty cool. I recommend looking it up if you haven't seen it. Let's see, Tanya, how was your week?
Busy, as you said, getting ready for our daughter's birthday tomorrow, and planning a birthday party, a small little tiny birthday party for Saturday, having two little friends over. So that will be strange because that will be the first in a long time since we've had anything like that. So getting ready for that, and just work's been super busy. We went for a walk the other night, gorgeous night out, and after dinner it's dark out already, and we went for a walk, and suddenly we walk past this smell, and it's like a skunk outside, but then we quickly realized it's not a skunk, it's marijuana. And my daughter has my hand, and like she's 7 turning 8, and she's like, oh, what's that smell? She's like, I really like it. And I'm like, oh no, no, you don't. No, you don't. You don't like that. She goes, it's bad, but it's good. She's like, I'm like, shut up, stop.
That is.
I'm like, stop. I'm like, no, you're not allowed to like that. Stop.
You know what? That's how I was with gasoline at that age. I like the smell of gasoline was I loved it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about markers?
Oh, same. Yeah, for sure. I burnt many a brain cell.
I grew up like at the stock cars and the gas and the tires and the rubber and everything burning, and I loved it. But this was like, oh no, please no.
Nothing smells better than trains.
Trains,
Jeez, of course.
Yeah, so it's just it's been a busy week, and I have a fun story coming up, but I'm not going to tell it yet. So go.
Okay, there's a teaser right there. Matt, how's your week? But why don't you start by letting us know how your boy's doing?
Is it your turn or my turn?
No, it's your turn.
Okay. He's good.
I switched it up a bit. I went first.
Well, you didn't give me any lead ups. So.
I gave the lineup.
Yeah.
You weren't paying attention.
I was last. Did you already go? Because I was. Oh, you did go. You started. Never mind. I'm lost. Let's catch up. Blue spatula. Moving on.
Yeah, where's blue spatula? Matt, how's your?
Yeah. How's my week?
Yeah.
He's good. Reese is great. I mean, like I said, it was the best case scenario in a really scary situation. So thank God for that. He had a couple bruises. He moved on. He barely remembers that it even happened. So
how old is he again?
That's good. He's 8.
8. Ugh. I hope he doesn't have memory of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll find out. I mean, it'd be interesting to see next time. We haven't gone for a bike ride since, so we'll see. Like if we get a chance this weekend, how he responds. Yeah. I'm worried that might trigger, but we'll cross that as it comes. But yeah, it was scary. I think we were more scared than he was. So he's a tough kid. We'll see what happens. Aside from that, good news stuff. The Fam Jam is in town. I know I talked about this a few weeks. I haven't seen them yet, but my parents drove in from Nova Scotia. It's been 2 years since I've seen them. Crazy to think about. They've actually only met my youngest once, and that was the first couple weeks that he was born.
Right.
And now he's turning 2 next week.
Oh my gosh.
Like, can you imagine? It's crazy. So we're going over to see them tomorrow night for dinner, and then they're spending the whole weekend with us. It's going to be hopefully epic and great and just very, very needed. So looking very, very forward to that.
Oh my gosh.
And also it's been an interesting week. So we talked about we were joking about the different podcasts before this. I did the dispute pod, which it sounds like I'm maybe in the lead, or maybe I don't know.
It looks like you're the clear winner. So yeah, you managed to beat the incumbent.
If you haven't checked a dispute pod, check it out. It was a blast. I had a real good time. And actually, what happened as a result of that is Demond, who is one of the co-hosts of Disputed Pod, does his own podcast called Demond Does, and it's Demond Does 6 questions, and basically he grabs random people from the world and asks them the same 6 questions, and you get different stories out of it. And I had the privilege of being asked onto a show.
Nice.
So I'm on back-to-back nights of podcasting because last night I was with him.
You've already recorded.
Yeah, we recorded last night. It happened very quick, but it was a blast. It was he said it'll take a few weeks to come out, but Demond Does. I did listen to a couple of his other shows. It's very. I like his concept, and I kind of joked with him when he said, "You want to come on?" I said, "Why? I'm not that interesting." And he said, "Listen, everyone has a story." Actually, Dennis, he should get you.
Oh my God! But he's going to need more than 6 questions.
I know.
I defied Demond to stick to 6 questions.
Oh my God! But
is it always the same 6 questions?
Same 6 questions. Yeah, and it kind of just opens up for interpretation. There's a couple more serious ones, a couple more lighter ones, and then a couple kind of it can go anyway. I talk a lot, so it was easy to fill some time, as you know.
Yeah, and you're becoming a bit of a pod slut because aren't you going on Podskier as well?
Yeah. I'm doing Podskier next Monday as well. I'm doing the rounds, guys.
Oh my goodness!
You better be
fun.
You better be repping the produce stand.
I am. I always bring it up. I actually mentioned my own. And I say, but no, really, ignore me. Go to Produce Stand Pod. Check us out. And I usually like anywhere you can find your podcast, you'll find us. So don't worry, Al, I got us. So that'll be coming out in a couple weeks. Honestly, just check out his podcast. It's unique. It's a little bit different. It's a very casual conversation. I like the format, and it was really fun to be a part of. And I probably sound like a fool, but it'll be out in a couple weeks. So please check it out.
Par for the course. Cool. Well done, Dennis.
Consistent.
Dennis, thank you so much again for stepping in tonight. How have you been?
Ooh, October 6th last year was when Eddie Van Halen passed.
Oh yeah,
and I can't find reference of anybody in the world that's done more Eddie Van Halen Funko Pop customs than me. So I've kind of become synonymous with it. So this last week has just been nothing but EVH.
Wow.
So I got a couple to show.
Yeah.
This one's Kanye West.
I was going to say, that doesn't look like Eddie Van Halen.
Looks a little different, right?
We don't see color, Al.
Whatever.
Yeah. That you missed.
Yeah. There he is. Yeah, awesome.
Nailed it.
In all his glory.
This is Eddie from Hot for Teacher with the No Bozo shirt.
Nice.
And I've actually started branching out into doing custom boxes too. So this is.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
look at you. Cool.
Jeez.
Fantastic.
Well done.
So let's take some pictures of that stuff so we can tweet that.
Yeah, because this makes for poor podcasting. Everyone's like,
I know.
What are they talking?
Audio medium, visuals don't.
You're going to have to start your own manufacturing.
Yeah. Well,
do you partner with a packaging company, or you're printing that out and folding it yourself and stuff?
Yeah, it's I found a Photoshop program where I can kind of plug and play, and I have some experience with digital imagery, so I make them myself and cut them out and paste them on myself.
Those are like store professional.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah,
excellent.
So, I mean, speaking of being pod slut, I mean, you're kind of sponsoring behind our back now. You're sponsoring another podcast. What's going on there?
Come on, baby. You know you're the only podcast with me.
Yeah, I'm sure you tell them that too.
There's only one podcast. I'm far too much man for only one podcast.
It's okay. He's a buddy, so you can talk about it.
But, it's, that connection was made through the produce stand. So Jack reached out to me and said, hey, we got a podcast over here too. So I was like, hey, all right.
Yeah.
And, it's based on Community, which I watched religiously when it was on TV. So, it kind of made sense. And they reached out to me. I was like, yeah, cool. Let's figure something out.
Yeah.
Jack's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. They're all good guys over there.
Oh, how's your ceiling? Did you ever get the water thing figured out?
I'd show you if I didn't think I would risk losing audio.
Oh, no, yeah. Is it fixed?
Did it get...
Oh, man.
No.
Yeah, well, they say so, but the dude literally came over, put up a 2x4, screwed it into the ceiling. literally just cut out a piece of drywall, put it up there, and screwed that up into the ceiling just to cover it up.
That's it. So he didn't fix it. He just patched it up. Wow.
Nailed it. That's like the. Oh, no. Well, hopefully it will hold up with the rain coming and change the season.
I haven't had an issue yet, so I'm hoping it holds.
Knock on wood. Yeah, with all that merchandise you have in there in that room there. Yeah, I hope you're insured.
Yeah. Well.
All right. It's late, and Tanya and I are pretty tired. But Tanya, would you like a coffee?
Yes.
And Victor, would you like a coffee?
Have a coffee.
He's got a coffee. That's right. Matt, would you like a coffee?
One line, Victor.
I'm surprised we're not having coffee right now.
Great, because as you know, Diabolical coffee is not being served at the produce stand. It's definitely good coffee and diabolically awesome swag. There's a roast for all tastes and even some you didn't know you wanted. You can order whole bean, coarse, and standard grind and espresso, or if you're like Tanya and me, there's a K-cup option for single cup brewers. And for the duration of this season, which is only a couple of episodes left, you can use the promo code Produce Stand for 10% off anything in the store. That's 10% off all coffee and merch, and he's got great merchandise. Thank you, Diabolical Coffee, for your support this season. Thank you, Eric. And speaking of support, we have 13 new Twitter followers. So welcome to Danielle Marchand, Rich Shikora, Philip A. Shane from New York, Mystery Ship from Chester P. Baginia. I don't know what that is. Sadie on Skates from California. Project Mosaic LLC from Denver. Swaga Hoto. Sean James from Chinle, Arizona. Alicia Valencia from Denver. A couple of people from Denver this week. Donna, I can't even pronounce this. I don't know. There's too many consonants here. Tilla or something.
Vilia?
Yeah, I don't know. Justin Stocks and Snakes from State Farm. Thank you all for following and hopefully for listening.
Previously on Letterkenny.
Last week we recapped and reviewed season 6 of episode 8. Holy Sheet. That episode was a unicorn, receiving a fresh rating from all of us. According to our scientific Twitter poll, 92.9% of you gave it a fresh and the rest gave it a clearance. There were no composts. So tonight we recap and review the season finale of season 8, Day Beers Day. And I'm going to start. I've done my homework. Victor, have you done your homework?
Indeed.
Tanya, have you done your homework?
With the volume high.
That's right. We did it at lunch when the kids weren't in, so that was great. Matt, have you done your homework?
Certainly.
And Dennis, I think you've done your homework a couple of times.
Day Beers. All right.
Well, don't bore us. Get to the chorus.
We cold open with Wayne, Rosie, and Katy at Modine's 3 chatting about their favorite superheroes with Gail. Katy's is Superman. Rosie's is Wonder Woman. Wayne's is Batman, and Gail's is, of course, Deadpool. When Rosie asks why Batman, Wayne answers because he's quiet, mysterious. No mystique, big mistake. Just then, in walk Riley and Jonesy wearing very tight pants and no shirts. Kitty and Rosie turn to see what's going on. Wayne stays facing the bar. He smells body spray, so it can't be anything good. Riley and Jonesy just got back from a little run ski, a little jog ski, a little sprint ski, a little trot ski, in which Gail says, good film. Production note, Trot Ski is a movie, a Canadian movie from 2009, starring Jay Baruchel, aka Hard Right Jay, and directed by Jacob Tierney, aka Glenn. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Jacob directed it.
It's a fantastic movie, by the way.
Oh, I have. It's on my queue because I checked out a few scenes from it.
Yeah, it's kind of a retelling of I think it's the Russian Revolution or something like that.
Yeah, in Montreal though. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, in Montreal. Yeah, it's he's like the reincarnation of Trotsky, and it's a pretty fascinating movie. Really
it's funny. Jay Baruchel goes from Hard Right Jay on Letterkenny to very, very far left Trotsky. Anyway,
highly recommend it.
Yes. The girls unload on Riley and Jonesy with a little help from Alexander, who must have finally emerged from cleaning the toilets in the bathroom.
Alexander?
Confucius say, a man who stand on toilet is high on pot.
What do you think about these two?
They're not going to get any chicks dressing like gays.
What if they are gay?
And they're definitely not going to get any chicks now.
Your junk looks like it wants to shake my hand.
You stuff a winter glove down there?
Looks like a Ziploc baggie full of carrot sticks to me.
Riley says it's a small price to pay for the scientific competitive edge that they get wearing compression tights. They're decreasing wind resistance by 2%. The girls tell him they're decreasing their manhood by a much larger percentage than that. Curiosity finally gets the best of Wayne, so he turns around and immediately regrets his decision.
All right, let me get to the bottom of this. Holy fuck. Give me one good reason why you want to go running in tights with your junk bouncing about.
Give me one good reason why we shouldn't.
You want to?
Even better.
Women and children.
Tights are for girls. Compression tights. They hold your muscles firmly in place while improving blood flow to the muscles.
So Lululemon comes along, revolutionizes the female ass game. Dudes love it because they secretly want to wear it.
These are nothing like Lululemon.
They're exactly like Lululemons.
Okay, yeah, but they're not Lululemons.
It looks like a duck and quacks like a duck.
They're not!
What if they are?
Then they're definitely not gonna get any chicks now. They're for increased athletic performance, boys.
But we can see your junk, boys.
Riley says their bulging junk isn't from the tights. They're also wearing a new kind of underwear called bags. The new underwear separates your dink from your balls and your balls from your leg to avoid chafing. The girls are surprised to hear that dudes chafe. Wayne says they don't. Riley says they do if they run in compression tights. Gail wants details on how the underwear separates the balls from the legs.
Put on your gits, right? It's like any other day, nothing out of the ordinary. But with bags, when you pull them up, drop your balls into a hammock-like pouch. Yeah, you just set them in there like... Yeah, you just drop your balls in a little pouch like there. Yeah, you just station them in there like...
But that makes your junk stick out even more.
You tell me, Katy Cat.
All right, so you want to go out running, you throw on some tights.
Compression tights.
Junk's out there, women and children.
Increased athletic performance.
And then you put on some special underwear with a pouch for your balls.
Just set them in there. Hey, just drop your balls in a little pouch like there.
That make your junk stick out more?
Ah, that's it, boys. That's the dagger.
Katy and Rosie turn back around to face the bar, and we cut to Wayne outside saying, "No mistake, big mistake," and we cue the theme. All right. So this cold open, I'm first, and I get to say it was meh. It was just meh, I gotta say. I mean, the best part of that cold open was Alexander, actually. He was funny. But the rest of it was just Riley and Jonesy being Riley and Jonesy and being ridiculous. And I wish they'd gone more with the superhero talk. But unfortunately, Riley and Jonesy had to interrupt that. So for me, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great either. It comes nowhere near anything, any of my top 10 even. So it was just there. Victor, what'd you think?
Really exactly the same. It was a bit of a disappointment because I thought the cold open was going to be all about superheroes, which is totally my, that's my bag. And I was just waiting. I was waiting, and then instead it ended up being a bag for your sack, and I just think it was just so ridiculous. It was, I don't know. It was a bit of a downer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it went from Riley and Jonesy kind of bringing their chops last week, and now it just back to their nonsense. So whatever. It was a pass.
Yeah, Tanya.
Okay. I just have to say, this was the funniest. I loved it because...
Oh, my God.
Topless Riley and Jonesy.
Because it was the lead up.
Were they topless?
No,
I guess
they were topless.
Yeah, they were topless.
But this is here's the lead up. And you have to just come with me on my story. So I'm full out Christmas shopping now because I go in from birthday right into Christmas and I start ordering all this stuff to start coming to the house. Anyways, I'm on Amazon and I'm looking for underwear for my teenage boy that is okay, I need to get this right. And so I'm reading reviews on underwear on Monday or Tuesday. So I hadn't seen this episode yet. And these reviews I'm dying laughing on these reviews. Men are talking about chafing and playing tennis and how Geppetto and his workshop, now have a safe place to rest and that their balls can breathe separately from their lungs and stuff. And I'm dudes are writing novels about their junk in underwear. And I am I'm loving it. I'm reading all of them and going to the next what does Adidas say about their
even Christmas shopping. Tanya's distracted by the D.
I totally was. I'm looking at the pictures and I'm like, oh, this one really holds everything nicely. And oh yeah. So, okay. So that was my lead up to this episode. And so now they're talking about their junk and stuff and Riley and Jonesy and like the superhero thing, it fit right into it because superheroes, they wear their underwear as outerwear, right? So it totally ties in with the superhero thing. Like Wonder Woman, she wore freaking underwear. Do not blue spatula me. Okay. Wonder Woman, her underwear is on. That's all she wears. It's just her underwear and boots. And
she wears a Wonder Bra.
See, you have a model of her.
You'll never open it, will you?
Victor has.
I will. I open all my toys.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
I think Dennis is going to show you up one.
See, Dennis can he can totally verify what I'm saying. They all wear their underwear on the outside.
Nice.
Look,
that's a Linda. What's her name?
Linda Carter.
Linda Carter. That's the original.
Yeah. Dennis, you agree with me, right? They wear their underwear on as outerwear. Batman, underwear on the outside. Everybody wears their underwear on the outside.
Superman stopped wearing his underwear on the outside.
But his original...
and that's when he stopped looking cool. And
his original is
and so
outerwear.
Matt was feeling left out. He's holding up his Funko Pop. Are you wearing your underwear on the outside of your overalls, Matt?
I am not.
He's not wearing any underwear.
That was not part of the design specs.
I loved it. I thought Alexander was hilarious. I love the whole, Stan Yee who stands on the toy, whatever.
High on pot. Yeah.
High on pot. Like loved it. I thought it was great. So
wow, there you go. Who knew? All you needed is a topless Riley and Jonesy. And it's funny when you were reading
but
me.
It wasn't just that.
When you were reading
it was also Wayne. Like Wayne's like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And then he turns around and he's like, damn it. Yeah. Like he's like, I shouldn't have done that. Like what? Now it's burned in my skull type of thing.
When you were reading me those reviews, I was laughing on the inside because I knew it was coming. So I knew that you would enjoy this part of the cold open because of those reviews. Anyway, Matt, what did you think?
Fun read.
I'm a little disappointed in you guys.
Oh.
So listen, this was.
Of course, you loved it, Matt. Of course.
No. Don't misunderstand me, sir. It was fine. There was nothing over the top. But what you're missing is this was a very important public service announcement going on here about the safety in men's junk.
Okay, gotcha.
I am very well versed in this category and a very big supporter of what these two gentlemen were talking about.
Well, you're a runner.
Well, not even being a runner. This is my day-to-day life. Ever since I have been opened my eyes to the world of these separative boxer brief.
Do you own a pair of bags?
You're a fan of those?
So there are multiple different brands who try to do this. There's actually only one that's gotten it right, and that's Saks with their ballpark pouch, as they call it. It's more of a separation. It's amazing. If you have not experienced it, you have not lived. You're living in pain, gentlemen. Give it a. There's other kinds. There's one brand called 2 Under.
We are looking for sponsorship for this podcast for next season. So Saks,
the 2 Under brand. They have what they call the Joey pouch, where you just put them in there. But listen, ever since I discovered
Joey pouch, I love it.
It's amazing, and then they totally sell the idea with this. But ever since I've discovered these wonderful types of underwear, I cannot wear anything but. And I actually I'm a big priss when it comes to like wife, you'll come up with like something. She's like, oh, I picked you these. I'm like, let's take them back. Like, I'm not wearing them. They don't have a separation. She's like, you don't really need that. I'm like, yeah, I do. It's like when you're given something so wonderful, why would you want anything less?
I'm getting Saks for everyone.
Oh my God. If you have not experienced this kind of shit yet, you're not living, gentlemen.
Wow.
Get it. Figure it out.
All right.
Nice.
That's what I want in my stocking.
I'm putting Saks in your stocking.
Dennis,
I'm going to put some you like walnuts. So I'm going to stick walnuts in your
really wrinkly, eh?
Oh man.
Oh boy. Yeah, this one's kind of a meh for me. But I'm that guy. When somebody comes up with the cool newest thing and they want to brag about it, I'm like, look at this. What the hell are you doing with your life? So, like, I could identify with it, but it was just kind of there. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. We'll move on to scene 1, coming out of the theme. Still at Modine's 3, but now it's just Dierks at the bar with Gail. Bonnie shows up early because, well, if you're not 10 minutes early, you're late. Dierks gets an eye full of Bonnie as she walks past and mutters his signature, very cool, very nice. This solicits a fuck you from Gail, but when Dierks reacts, Gail lies and tells him her comment wasn't directed at him, but at someone behind him who just farmer spit on the carpet. Then Gail asks him about his weekend plans.
Here, taking your little cousin to Quebec for his 18th birthday.
Okay.
Just making conversation. Why Quebec?
Well, he's turning 18. Legal drinking age in Quebec is 18, so well.
Fuck off!
What's that?
Not you. Girl behind you just crop dusted.
Very gnarly, very unnecessary.
Unusual business as usual. Anything else calling your name in Quebec? Poutine. Smoked meat.
Nope.
For strippers in Canada.
Okay, is that to me or someone behind me?
Just then, Rosie walks by and says hi to Gail and Dierks, hammering on the D. Dierks gets an eyeful of Rosie as she walks by and under his breath says, how are you now? Wayne answers for her. Good and you, and grabs Dierks by the chin, stares him in the eye and says, I'm fucking dying for a piece of you. Katy walks in and Gail warns Wayne, who lets go of Dierks' face. Katy tells Dierks that they have to go if they want to catch their movie, and she walks out. Dierks smugly gets up off his stool, and before he walks out, he whispers to Wayne that everybody in Letterkenny likes him except for Wayne. Then he calls him cute butt, tells Wayne to chew on that, and walks off. Wayne grumbles that he doesn't like that dude. Gail agrees, and so does Bonnie. Next scene. Cut to 2 days later. Wayne is sitting outside reading with Rosie as she's telling him how much she doesn't like Dierks. They get back to reading. Well, Rosie gets back to reading. Wayne starts just turning the pages of the book, licking his finger between each one, just to annoy Rosie.
I know you're just doing that to bug me.
What's that?
Stop doing that.
Stop doing what?
You didn't even read that page.
Which page?
Stop that.
Sorry?
You're missing your book.
I read this book several times, so not missing much.
Must be a pretty good book.
Oh, it's a great book. It's The Black Donnellys.
Production note: The Black Donnellys is a classic Canadian true crime novel by Thomas B. Kelly from 1954, based on a true story about an Irish immigrant family settled in Ontario and that terrorized their community for 33 years. So, of course,
Terrorize them how now?
Just stealing and fighting and killing, and yeah, it's all based on a true story too. It's all
interesting.
Yeah. Let's see here. Wayne's flirtation works, and Rosie moves to sit beside him.
I like how those pants fit.
It's a good pant.
Good pants?
Why, is it more than one pant?
It's a pair of pants.
Oh, the gal at the store called it a pant.
Well, that's a girl who should know they're called pants.
One time she called it a jean.
Bet you like how that jean fit too.
Katy thought she was lesbian, actually.
Just then, Wayne's phone rings. It's Marie Fred. He grumbles and ignores the call.
She's still trying to get in your pant?
Okay, maybe it is pants.
Tough go away?
Yep.
Getting any easier?
Yep.
Rosie asks Wayne if they're going to participate in Daybeer's Day. Wayne's got choring to do first, so Rosie offers up 2 strong hands. More hands make less work, and then after that, they can go together. Wayne takes this opportunity to ask Rosie if she'd like to formalize things.
So what would you say if, we started going, most places together?
I'd say pitter patter.
Good enough.
But let's get at her. Big day in Letterkenny.
Yep.
It's Daybeer's Day. Scene 3. Outside Modine's 3, Gail, Derry, Squirrely Dan, Katy, Roald, Stewart are sitting out in the parking lot in lawn chairs drinking beer. There's a big sign on the wall that reads Daybeer's Day. The McMurrays joined them already drunk. Derry points out that if McMurray's hammered, you know what that means. Katy's out for this. She's headed down to Dierks to help him and his cousin with their hangovers from the weekend in Quebec. Derry wonders why they went to Quebec. The McMurrays know the answer.
Best rippers on earth in Quebec.
The legal drinking age is 18.
Plus, you can touch them. Touch what? The tits.
Ooh, suck on them. 9 and 10 teddy bears, too.
Okay, I'll bite. Have you ever done that? We ever done.
The McMurrays go on to tell a story of when they got a couple's lap dance. I'll spare you the drunken, slurry details, as Dennis just gestured. Let's just say it's a typical McMurray story told from both sides. Everyone else just sits there listening with repulsed looks on their faces, except for good old Gaylor. Riley and Jonesy joined the drinking party. They wonder where Katy's off to. They wanted to take a run at her. Derry informs them that they're out of luck. Katy has a new boyfriend. He's from the U.S. Riley and Jonesy say they fucking hate Yanks. Bonnie brings out more beers, and Riley and Jonesy's attention shifts to them. Next scene, at the farmhouse, Katy's getting ready to head down to Michigan. Gus blocks her from leaving the house, and after a few dog kisses, Katy dismisses Gus and heads on her way. Next scene, back at Modine's 3, at the parking lot, we find out why Riley and Jonesy hate Yanks so much.
Yank teams would come up from Michigan, Ohio, and play in our tournaments growing up, and they were stacked. The shit kicked us.
You guys are usually losing, though, no? This is different, though. A team from Detroit would have a D-man from New York, a tandy from Boston, and a sniper from Minnesota. They'd all fly in thrice a week for practice, then they come up and shit kick us.
Religious fellas?
What?
Well, sounds like they've got some monies.
Wasn't fair. It's their best players in the country versus the best players in our county.
Stewart also hates Yanks, but it's because they're the first to steal and catalog our online data. They have record of every site you've been to, every subject you've ever searched, and every porno you've ever watched, every text you've ever sent. Yanks have it, and one day we'll leak it. That's why they're solely on the dark web. Jonesy brings up the point that the word Yank is not PC anymore. In fact, a player in the OHL got suspended for calling a European player a Euro. Production note, this is true. It's actually happened twice. The first time it happened was 2004. James Wisniewski was suspended 5 games in the OHL for saying the phrase, "I don't fight fucking Euros." He played for 6 different NHL teams after that, and then played for Russia for a season as well. He's been suspended multiple times as a pro, so he's no stranger to suspensions. Derry says he's got no problem with Yanks. If Canada was in trouble, they'd be the first ones to come up and help us get sorted. Scradan says they're good neighbors. Stewart says Good Neighbors was a good film. So production note there. Lots of production notes in this one. The 2010 Canadian film Good Neighbors stars Jay Baruchel and is written and directed by Jacob Tierney. So those guys do a lot of work together. Derry doesn't like Dierks, though. When they ask him why, it says because Wayne doesn't like him. And Squirrely Dan agrees. Ryan Jonesy says Dierks better behave himself because if he hurts Katy, they'll go after him. And the Skids agree.
Yeah, that's small towns and the snow globes for you.
Boy, howdy.
Yeah, we might bickers with each other's on the inside, but if someone from the outsides comes a knocking.
Cut to knocking on the farmhouse door. Wayne opens it. It's Marie Fred. She starts by apologizing to Wayne. He tells her she didn't have to come all that way to tell him that, but she did. Yeah, well, you can't win them all. But that isn't the only reason she showed up.
My cousin had his bachelor party a couple of days ago. It was in a strip club in Montreal, and I went with the boys.
Good.
There was a Yank buying everybody drinks, and our table eventually joined his table. All his friends were saying how hot his girlfriend was, and one of them pulled up a picture on his phone. It was Katy.
Well, no reason to get excited.
They came in with a bunch of girls and left with a bunch of girls.
You doing anything you shouldn't be?
Marie Fred nods her head, then reverts back to the subject of them. Marie Fred says it's been a tough go, eh? Wayne needs a little more time to change subjects. After some massive blinking, he goes back to being aloof with Marie Fred and agrees. Yup. Marie Fred asks him if it's getting any easier. Just as she finishes asking, Rosie comes out of the bathroom wearing very little and giving Marie Fred the stink eye as she walks off. Wayne answers with a perfect timing. Yup. Next scene, back to the parking lot and back to the McMurrays telling their uncomfortable sex stories. This one's about a time McMurray spent down in McMurdo Beach and Mrs. McMurray spent in McMayan Riviera. Both their stories are sexually graphic. The McMurray story is making Derry, Squirrely Dan, and Riley and Jonesy deeply uncomfortable. Mrs. McMurray's story is finding a more sexually liberal audience in Gail and the Skids. At the end of both their stories, they're asked if the other knows about this, and both say, of course they do. There are no secrets between spouses. Then they go on to another story about how sometimes when Mrs. McMurray is on the shitter, McMurray will stand outside the bathroom door naked, shaking his hips back and forth, making a little golf clap sound with his dick slapping against his thighs. They're both acting this out when Bonnie comes out. I just got the blue spatula. Bonnie comes out with day beers.
2 fingers.
Oh, sorry, 2 fingers. That's right, because it's McMurray. It's 2 fingers. She gets excited because she thinks the dancing has begun, and she shouts to Alexander to turn the music up on the outside speakers. The others think dancing is a great idea. Anything to stop from hearing another McMurray story. Next scene, cue the musical montage. Here we go. Katy is on her way down to Michigan. She keeps trying to reach Dierks on the phone, but isn't getting an answer. Cut back to Modine's parking lot where the dancing is picking up. Cut to the farmhouse. Wayne and Rosie jump in the truck, headed for Modine's. Wayne's on a mission. Back to Modine's, still dancing. Cut to Katy at the food truck, grabbing a bite and still trying to reach Dierks and still no answer. Cut to Modine's. The dancing is interrupted by Wayne. He says something to the others and they all run and pile into their vehicles. Cut to Dierks' house. Katy pulls up, sees Dierks' cousin coming out with a woman. And then Dierks comes out for a smoke. He's shirtless. He seems surprised to see Katy. Then another woman comes out from the house and wraps her arms around Dierks as he stands there looking at Katy. They stare at each other for a moment, then Dierks' attention is drawn to the road as a bunch of vehicles pull up to the front of the house and out spills Wayne, Derry, Squirrely Dan, followed by McMurray, Mrs. McMurray, Stewart, Rold, Riley, Jonesy, Bonnie, and Gail. And they're all sprinting to get at Dierks while Katy just stands there staring, and we fade to black. Okay. Yes. There's a lot of reading there. Yeah, sorry about that. Not a whole lot of clips could be. I mean, I thought about clipping some of the McMurray story, but holy fuck. Like, A, you wouldn't be able to understand half of it with how badly they're slurring it. And B, it's just, if you really want to listen to that shit, then watch the episode. Okay, so I guess I start. Excuse me. Let's see here. I've actually broken this down scene by scene because there's a lot here in a short episode. It's a 19-minute episode.
Really?
It's only 19 minutes. But it's full. It's full, and there's some major scenes in this episode, but I feel like there's I don't know. It's a little light on substance. The scenes are the individual scenes are really, really good. Everything else, it's almost like they had to figure out a way to put all of these scenes into an episode and time together with the story. Because the first thing that I noticed, Day Beers Day. Does anybody know what that is? Like, other than, okay, we're just drinking beer during the day. What is that? Like, in past episodes, whenever the Hicks or explain some special day in Letterkenny, they explain what the day is about. Why they give a bit of an exposition and background to what the day is and why it started. There's nothing. So all we know is that it's a day that they all get together to drink in the Modine's parking lot, which is enough of an occasion, but they don't really do much to explain it. So I feel like this was kind of something they threw together because they needed to tie some very important scenes in there. The Marie Fred showing up at Wayne's door, the Wayne and Rosie's relationship kind of being cemented, and of course the Katy double cross. Everything else in this episode is kind of trying to weave it all together, and I feel like it kind of falls short. But anyway, those are kind of my initial findings here. Victor, what do you think?
Yeah, I felt there was a few inside jokes happening, and I was not invited to the party.
Right.
I thought I was trying to think hard, like, which episodes did I daydream through where they would have talked about Day Beers Day, because the way they were talking, like, it was a thing, right? Mm-hmm. Even the mantra that they were going on with, did I completely pass out through a reference to this? Because totally didn't get it, and that bothered me because that was such a big part of the non-montage part of the episode,
right?
And it's like I have no idea what they're there for. Like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Aside from the obvious, so that was kind of weird. And then the scene with Katy and the dog. I'm still trying to figure that one out. What the fuck was that?
That one was that felt a little out of place as well. I mean, the only thing I can think of is it's everything in Letterkenny is conspiring against her going down to visit Dierks. And so she did anyway, right?
The dog doesn't. Come on.
No, I know.
Yeah. And then I thought, did the dog like do a poopsie doopsie somewhere? And he's like feeling, it's like, yeah, go, I'll clean it up. And but then I thought, no, maybe Dierks does poopsie doopsie and the dog is smart and knows. So I thought, I don't know. So that was a little bit ambiguous.
Yeah.
So, my initial thought is that all the scenes leading up to the montage are a bit of a throwaway for me. Like, for me, the funniest part of that whole scene was McMurray and his drunk wife is in the background, seeing McMurray leaving the scene, doing his squid walk or whatever that is.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I caught that too. I died.
That's when I laughed out loud. That is, I think, the only time I laughed out loud in this episode. Is just that, and it's that physical comedy that he does.
Yeah.
Just that one part is for me the good. Everything else is kind of flat. Like it just, I've had enough of McMurray's stupid drunk stories and stuff like that. And he's a piece of shit. So that's his thing. I feel like I'm more kind of annoyed by his wife than him because I don't know, like, why does she have to be drunk all the time?
Because she's married to McMurray.
I guess maybe that's the secret to their bliss.
They're kind of perfect for each other.
I guess. Anyway, so my initial thought is that like everything else was just there. It was completely unnecessary. And if you take it all, if this whole episode was only the montage, that would have been totally fine. It's everything we need because we had all the clues from previous episodes and we were just waiting. Like, in previous episodes, like they were asking, what do you think is going to happen? This is exactly what I thought was going to happen. Or like, it doesn't take a genius, right? So like, I feel like a montage would have been enough and everything else they thought they needed to make it 19 minutes instead of 9 minutes. And it was, I don't know, they could have done better. That's all.
Victor, you will never appreciate how hard I tried to use the word comeuppance in the Limerick this week. I tried so hard. There's nothing rhymes with comeuppance. Except tuppence, and there's nothing I could have.
Tuppence.
But anyway,
you can do it next. We have a whole other season.
I'm going to disagree with you, Victor. There's some amazing scenes in here. Rosie and Wayne reading together. I mean, that's the closest. We now know that Wayne flirts like a 12-year-old high school boy. that's his method of the only thing he didn't do is like pull her hair or pull the chair out from under her. Everything else, though, that's how he flirts. I love those scenes. The scene with Marie Fred at his door. Come on. That was a great scene. Perfectly timed. Like, I loved it.
But it was a clip. It wasn't. It was less of a scene than more of a clip, right? It was like, that's a perfect comeuppance, right? That's the fact, having her come to the door and having Rosie walk by with all herself, and it just the timing of that. But that's a scene. That's a clip, right? It's almost a meme, if you will. It's just it's like what? It's 30 seconds. So I don't know. In terms of scenes, like that whole, the whole scene with the beer day and the whole montage. I mean, those are scenes.
Yeah, I feel like they should have renamed this episode "Comeuppance" and not "Day Beer's Day."
Oh my gosh,
Tanya, what do you think of this? Initial thoughts?
I can't help but think that this whole episode was just all about timing. It was the timing of every single scene, like right up until the last scene. So it was like the perfect storm of every single one of the scenes. Starting with Dierks, what a shift from the last episode. Last episode, people were kind of falling all over him and, who's that, new hot thing. And now this episode, everybody's like complete 180 on him and is like, don't like him. Everybody's now saying Dierks the same way that Wayne was saying with the hard D. Hard D, sorry. Caught myself
hammering
saying
on the D. Go on.
Hammering on the D. Oh dear. I just want to say though, the whole thing with Marie Fred, like she calls out another cheater to the person that she cheated on. Like, I'm like but the timing of that though too, like I think the whole thing with Katy and the dog blocking her, I think it was just all, moments of things and time to come together. It was all just to come to that perfect pinnacle of her having her buddies and her backup there at that moment where she freezes. Like Katy, we never see Katy freeze up. Like she's always the one that gives the box shot, right? Mm-hmm. She's not the person to just
she's
stand.
Not the victim.
She's never the victim, right? And I think everything happened. And even, okay, so I want to note something. McMurray's story. Their story about being in the cabana, and she's telling the story and he's telling the story at the same time, and their stories are so similar that it almost sounds like they were with each other. Like they weren't with separate people. They were with each other because they were the exact same story. And I'm thinking, that again just mimics the whole timing of things, and they're just trying to drive in. It's like what's the word? The serendipity, where
they were together though.
No, they weren't.
Were with the same. I thought they were with the same stripper, and one had one.
Oh,
breast and the other one
so
had
that story they're together, but the second story where McMurray is in McMyrtle Beach and Mrs. McMurray is in McMahon Riviera. Those are two separate stories, but those are really well written. I agree. And well timed. Yeah, the timing of those were great. I just the substance of the story is just.
But they mimicked each other.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was well done
to the point where you're like, they were with each other. They're just blowing smoke. They are always just with each other, and they're making it sound like they're with others because they want to sound like they're open, or they want to sound more exotic. Or
I think they're.
Maybe they are exotic. Maybe they are exotic, but at the same time, they mimic the story almost to the point where it was just like, okay, well, they were with each
They're
other.
Members of the lifestyle. I was trying to look up, in the Karate Kid movie, that thing that he uses the drum with the fly. Yeah, what's that called? Anyone knows what that's called? Because that's basically what McMurray was doing with his
with the. And I want it noted.
Right,
that's too hard of a slap. It was just a little small one.
Right, it's McMurray. I keep forgetting.
That's a horrible visual, by the
way. What? And the visual of the is not a bad one.
I don't know. I'll take that one over the McMurray visual.
I also want to know. Canada. No one that I know says the word cousin. There's no T on the end of cousin.
Yeah, that bothers you, doesn't it?
It really bothers me. I'm like, I don't want people thinking that in Canada we say it this way, because I have never heard anyone say it that way.
You put a T at the end of the word across, though. So
across.
I mean, it happens just with different words.
It's across. It's just like he drowned.
Way to back your wife there, bud.
Yeah, noted. No, it's one of those that rub me the wrong way.
Oh, it really does.
Oh man, and her dad says it too. It's like, oh, okay. Anyway.
I don't know what it is.
Matt, go ahead. What did you think of this episode?
So first, before I lose that thought, and while we're on topic, I actually completely agree with Tanya on the aspect of the McMurrays there. I felt the same way as they were telling that story. I'm like, they are, in my head, 100% telling the story of being with each other. Mm-hmm. Like they're both batshit, right? They're out there. I can't imagine, unless they find other batshit people who are on their level, even for people who are into the swing game and all that, these two are just out there. I think they get off on it. And I interpreted that they are absolutely playing a role-playing game ongoing on the regular basis, and they're both telling their versions of it in whatever way they want, but it's each other. Those two are so into each other. It's this weird, twisted romance and love that they had. And I love it, but they're so into each other and they're perfect for each other. I actually read that whole scene the exact same way. I'm like, they are just telling an adventure that they both had in their own heads as they played out a role-playing scenario. That's what I took.
Regular penthouse romance novel.
Yeah. So I agree with you. As soon as you said it, I'm like, that. I already had it written down. I'm like, I completely agree. The episode as a whole, I think I agree. There wasn't a lot of substance. It was a hard one to sort of get behind. There were some good moments. I'd say the what you, Victor, referred to as a clip with Rosie and Mary Fred and Wayne was one of my favorite moments, whether it's a clip or not. I was so damn proud of Wayne, the way he handled that. when he said, yep, and she walked by so confidently.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Didn't even look at her, just, that's right, bitch, and move on. And I loved it. I'm like, that was the best way. Like, that's the ultimate kind of revenge is a dark side, but it's just that gratifying moment of, this is what you missed.
It's a fuck you.
Yeah, I moved on. Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was so well, and just the grin on his face said it all. So that was, I mean, yeah, there wasn't a lot of substance. I agree with Victor as well. I mean, you all have made good points already. That's why I like going last as well, because I can just echo some of the things you're saying.
But again, the Marie Fred thing, that again was timing, as she's coming out of the room, you know, and Wayne's that question on Wayne, and she walks through. It's the whole show was just timing.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
and the time travel, as we'll get to.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Well, I was going to mention that already. Let's get to it right now, because there is time. Time obviously runs differently in Letterkenny, because
it does.
They went from doing their thing to day drinking to traveling to Michigan to.
Oh yeah, who drove? Who drove?
Well, yes, that
Rosie drove.
And let's call
all of them.
Katy seems like a pretty, solid, confident woman. If this day was the way it played out, she went from let me call Dierks to let me go to Michigan because I'm going to kill this motherfucker in like a second. Like there was like, she's trying to call him, but it's the same day. Like you don't go to that escalated matter. Someone is confident.
No, she was going there already.
Yeah, she was already going there, right? So I don't know.
She said she was going to help. But she was going to help them get over their hangovers.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's also a BS reason just to get her down there. But yeah, I don't.
Why was he so surprised that she was there?
Maybe he didn't know she was coming.
Yeah, maybe because she tried to call him and to let him know maybe, and he never answered. So that's probably why.
Anyways, the timeline does make, and in Letterkenny lore, it's all over.
They get in their trucks and they show up just at the same time. It's so.
I mean, I love it.
And once again, Marie Fred's coming all the way from Quebec,
right? To tell him this?
To tell him that happened that weekend. So yeah, it's maybe she took the Proto Stand portal, but hopefully Wayne took the keys to the portal away from her now, and she'll have to drive her ass back for the 6-hour drive she'd have to take. There's a lot there. Did you have any other points, Matt?
No, I mean there were some great moments for sure in this episode, some things that made me laugh, but there's also a lot of holes. I think this fits the par of a lot of season finales that we've seen. None of them I think have ever blown us away. So at least we're consistent.
I mean, if you want to talk about earned cliffhangers, though, this one earned it. This one they're building towards it all season long, right? This one is a
what's the cliffhanger here?
I just had the
cliffhanger. It's a finale.
Finale. Like I'll get to that in a second when it's my turn. But
I just had a light bulb.
What?
I now know why Marie Fred came and told Wayne.
Why?
Because she's scared of Katy. Because didn't Katy say to her, didn't she threaten her?
Well, Katy went over there to give her a box shot.
She already got boxed.
Yeah, she already got boxed.
Did she already get boxed? Oh, right, with Bonnie.
Anyway, let's Dennis, what did you think of this? We haven't heard from you yet.
Well, there are a number of reasons why I kind of identify. So because, I'm an asshole from Michigan that spent a lot of time at titty bars. So
let's just set that straight.
Employed, by the way. But, it's, when you're in one of those clubs, the male gaze is something that kind of comes with the territory. But because I've spent a lifetime being protective of other people, I'm every girl's big brother. So I've had that conversation with plenty of dudes where I'm like, I don't like you, dude. And if you hurt that girl, I'm really going to hurt you. So and I've literally grabbed dudes by the face and make sure that they know I'm serious.
So you really related to Wayne in that scene.
Right. You know, it's like, I'm fucking dying for a piece of you. And I'm just waiting for you to slip up. And, you know, I have a sister that's 14 years older than me, and there are ex-boyfriends of hers. If they cross my path, I'd still twist their neck shut. So, I mean, I know. But I think the Day Beers Day is more of a device to have a large group of people readily accessible. You know, it's a reason why there are so many people kind of pooled up there to call in the troops. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as a plat device, it makes sense. I know you're all married men, so you may not want to answer, but how many of you have been to titty bars in Quebec?
Yeah. Well, so she. Yeah. She has as well. Yeah.
Do they really get to grab the girls?
In some of them, yeah. In some of them.
I haven't seen that.
Dude, you can do that in Toronto. You don't have to go to Montreal.
In Toronto, that'll get you beat up and kicked out. In Quebec, it's allowed.
No. It's a thing. Like we can take it offline. But back in the day when I was younger, take
it off as he tells his story.
No. There's I don't even know those places around anymore. But yeah, Lancaster Club and stuff like that. There's you could do that. There, Whiskey A Go Go is another one where they let you go wild.
We're learning a lot more about Victor.
The thing about Montreal is, and I it's been a while because I went there for a bachelor party. The one thing that there are two girls, they came on a table. We were sitting at a round table, and they came onto the table. Settle down, Tanya. They stood onto the table, and then they started performing.
Yes.
And what they were doing is they were doing sexual acts on each other,
right?
And in front of us on the table. So something you think you'd have to go to Amsterdam for, but no, that's happening in Montreal, and right in front of you, right? And so that's like you're not going to see that kind of stuff in Toronto. You're only going to see that in Montreal. The whole kind of going above and beyond on with your kind of private table dances or whatever they're called, lap dances. I don't think you don't need to go to Montreal for that. It's just that extra level of performance.
That's wild. Because there's somebody that had to enforce those rules. That's a completely alien concept to me because nobody touches the girls, you know.
No, yeah.
Well, I know some places, but it's like
see, you know some places too.
Not legally anyway. Although I don't know if it was legal in Montreal either, but I know it was. Okay. So any other points there, Dennis?
Again with the McMurrays, the same as Matt and Tanya. I get the feeling that they want to seem more exotic than they actually are. Because how many times have they talked about this? You know, being part of the lifestyle and some of the wild stuff that they've done, but it almost always involves one another. At least from one side of the story. So I think maybe that's just part of their kink. Well,
there was that one time, St. Patty's Day episode with Katy, Mrs. McMurray and Katy in the bathroom.
But if you remember, he was outside, Mr. McMurray was outside having a cigarette, was told that that she was in the bathroom, wasn't it? And he went running in right away because he's like... I think he wanted to either stop it or be a part of it or something.
Well, Katy would not be a part of that with McMurray.
No.
I don't think so. Anyway.
But I think, being a 19-minute episode, it really did help them play with the timing. And this was a very cinematic episode. And it's something I've really been impressed by in the last few seasons where there are shots you're like, man, that's...
Yeah. Well, that whole last montage, as long as it was really, I thought was really well done. Now, Matt, you're a little more critical about the musical montages. What did you think?
But so I was going to say, I agree. This is one of the first montages that actually made sense to me. I thought they did a good job because normally they don't seem to have a purpose. It's kind of like, let's just get everyone together, pan around the room and show what they're doing. End of story. Right. This one told a story through a montage, and they told it well, where they balanced at the right time to drag to carry the story forward up until that epic ending. So I actually thought that was one of my favorite parts of the whole episode. And like you said, I'm always very critical of montages. I thought this one they nailed.
Good.
For me, that was the episode.
Yeah.
For me, that montage was the episode.
Yeah, you already called that. You said this was.
Yeah, agreed.
This was it.
Agreed. It was so, all right, it's time for ratings, and
it was still Dennis's turn.
Oh, sorry, Dennis. Did you have anything else?
Well, they did a really good job of framing some of those scenes too, where just like when Dierks was looking at Rosie, And he said, "How are you now?" They completely blocked out Wayne, so you don't see him until he says,
"Oh yeah,"
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was really well done. But there were different moments throughout the episode where they did play on, the angle that you see certain scenes from to, block it out to have a little more punch when they actually play out. But
yeah. Turns out Tierney's a pretty good director.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So ratings. So I want to set a scene here because basically this episode leaves off where this podcast picked up. So to give you guys some background, this episode happens and then all Letterkenny fans are like, holy fuck, we can't wait to see Dierks get his comeuppance. And they can't wait for the next season.
That's not what they said.
That's what they said. Because no, trust me.
They didn't say comeuppance.
Right after they said frick.
That's
It was they said it offline.
Yeah, they said it offline. And then the pandemic hit and the season didn't come when it was supposed to come. And then months later, the season didn't come when it was supposed to come. So when 2020 when the season finally dropped on Boxing Day, the excitement, everyone couldn't wait to see the scene of Dierks getting his. So this is where it all begins. So this is why everyone was so excited.
It was
a long wait. So Letterkenny fans couldn't wait when they finally saw that season 9 was coming out. It was because this is how they were left. They were left like this. The Hicks, all of Letterkenny sprinting towards Dierks to beat the shit out of him. And then boom, nothing for over a year. So picture that. That's basically all Letterkenny fans were waiting for that moment to come back. And we only have to wait a few weeks. So consider yourselves lucky. So having said that, there's so many epic scenes in this. So the Wayne and Rosie, I love it. Relationship Wayne's back, so much fun, and watching Wayne flirt was hilarious. I think that's kind of the first time we see Wayne kind of flirting.
He used to cock Marie Fred.
Yeah, that's not flirting though. That's more.
There's the barbecue talk with.
Yeah, but he wasn't flirting.
Tannis.
He was reacting to Tannis. He wasn't actually. He wasn't doing he wasn't being. I don't know.
I see that as flirting. But
yeah. And the Marie Fred scene, I love it. And then the last scene was epic and amazing, and just the way it should end. But man, those parking lot scenes are just tough to watch. And I feel like, again, they had
dance.
They had these 4 scenes that they were building towards, and they need to put them together somehow. Dennis, I love the point you make that was a plot. Daybeer's Day was a plot device. So that explains maybe why they didn't really have a backstory for it. But it's unfortunate because they even had a backstory for the 100 shots in 100 seconds, right? They had something to say, Letterkenny tradition, blah, blah, blah. So they could have done that. It's a 19-minute episode. They could have added 2 or 3 minutes of exposition and done something to set that up.
I can't believe your hang up is day drinking. They drink. That's what they do.
That's not the hang up. It's those scenes. So usually we call them commercial breaks. Like whenever Riley and Jonesy or the Skids have these 30-second scenes that mean nothing, we call them commercial breaks. Unfortunately, these scenes took up a big chunk of those 19 minutes, and I did not like them. But everything else was epic enough that I'm going to give this one a clearance. It's a clearance. It's a high clearance, but it's not a fresh. It can't be a fresh for me, unfortunately. Victor.
Yes.
What rating do you give this?
What it is. I mean, you really hit all the points. I mean, even with the 2 clips that you called out that were really great scenes, they were. No doubt about it. But this episode was those 2 clips, the day drinking scene that they kept coming back to, and then montage, right?
Yeah.
So, and obviously we had the cold open, which was just a blah. Yeah. And for me, so when you kind of, you got to give props to those 2 very impactful, scenes with, developing the relationship. That's fine. I don't think it was as groundbreaking as you, because I feel like we've seen.
Not groundbreaking, just fun. They were fun to watch.
Yeah, they were fun. I have no objections. You can never have enough of Rosie, as far as I'm concerned. I think she's great. I'll take Rosie over Shurzy any day. But but there's not enough of that, right? There's not enough of that. That and then the Murray Fred scene, that those are great, but they don't save the episode.
Right.
The other, the day drinking, you want to anchor it, fine, but don't take a shortcut. Give us a little bit more.
Yeah, they had the time, right? They had the time to set it up. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like maybe there was, somebody called in sick or whatever, so the writing room wasn't as full. Yeah. But then the montage, right? The montage. I like, looking at all of the previous montages we've ever had, this is the most impactful one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This one had the most to say. It had a story in it, like Matt said. There was a build up, and it was, the music was just brilliant.
Yeah, it's a great.
I don't know
song.
who that. Yeah,
you might hear it later. You might hear it later.
I didn't. So I didn't do the homework. I didn't research who the artist was, but that was a great song, and it was just perfect for the scene. It was just so much build up. It was such a great story that happened in there. For me, like I said, I would have been totally satisfied if we just had that montage as the episode.
Wow.
But that's not what we got.
Yeah.
So I have to give it, rate the entire episode. So for me, it has to be a clearance. It's not a high clearance. It's not a low clearance. It's just a clearance because the montage is as wonderful as it is.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't the episode. We have to rate the whole thing.
Okay. 10.
I didn't question the whole day beers day. They drink. They were outside. They were at Modine's. Like usually there's no patio at Modine's. They were on their lawn chairs. Maybe they got a permit for that day. Like I can read all sorts of things into that. They got a permit. They got to sit outside and enjoy the day and have beers. And, even the McMurrays, who usually kind of turn me off, comical, like them both standing there and going back and forth with their hips and the imagery of a dick going back and forth and Bonnie popping her head out going, oh, are you dancing now, like, and bringing more beers. Like that was just so much fun. Like there was nothing wrong with it at all. I looked at the episode as a whole and I loved the timing of everything, how everything was to that pinnacle moment of the ending and how everything was just timed out. It was just all, again, like I said, serendipity, where it's just like everything happened at the exact moment that it was supposed to happen in. The end was fantastic. Like that's exactly how it should have ended. That's kind of what we all predicted. I didn't imagine that I didn't know how they were going to make it happen. And that was the only way they could make it happen by doing this montage and tying it all into that final end story. I give it a fresh. Nothing offended me. Like it was a great episode.
Okay. Matt?
So it's funny. I agree with almost everything Tanya said, but I still give it a clearance.
Wow.
Listen, we especially we're coming off Holy Sheets.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple other really fantastic episodes this season. If you are comparing them, this one doesn't hold apart. I enjoyed the episode. Yes, I thought it was fun. It was short. Didn't have a lot of substance. We've talked about a lot of this already. The montage at the end, again, I think that was one of the things that really saved it. It actually, and it's funny enough, that reminded me of, you ever seen the movie WALL-E?
Mm-hmm.
The animated Pixar.
Oh, yeah, great movie, yeah.
So it is very difficult to tell, especially in this day and age, to tell a story without saying anything.
Yeah.
WALL-E, a fantastic example of a story, for the most part, that is told extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
Without
first 40 minutes of the movie is a no dialogue. Yeah.
It's brilliant. And not to say this is WALL-E, but this is the kind of thing that it reminded me of, where they really were able to capture a story in a small little segment of show with some music and just showing you what's going on. And you were able to follow it and enjoy it and understand it and engage with it. So hats off to them for that. I thought it was brilliant. But the rest of the episode, it was fine. Like, you're not wrong. Your points are spot on. There was the day drinking thing didn't bother me. It's a small town. Who knows? They probably said, fuck it, let's call one day a year. We all get out and drink our faces off out in the middle of the day. They do it all the time anyways, but let's call it a day just to validate ourselves.
Yeah. What's the difference between that and
an explanation?
Yeah.
Because it was at Modine's this time. It was outside on lawn chairs at Modine's.
No, I get it. I mean, Dennis is right. He's 100% right when he said it's just an excuse to gather as many of the characters in one place at once. So perfect.
I agree.
Yeah.
So
I kind of
didn't
missed
care.
Glenn and Dickens there. I wish they'd been there too. But other than that, yeah. And Dennis.
And small towns do things like that. And that's okay. They find weird ways to just have fun and God bless them for it. So, but yeah, it's a clearance. I definitely was a huge fan of the Wayne and Rosie scene, him flirt, what we call him flirting now. I loved it. I was a different side of him that I loved seeing. And yes, he's flirted in different ways, but this one was true and it was cute. And I love watching them. And I mean, continuing to love Rosie more and more.
Oh yeah.
She's just a really spectacular character. And I look forward to seeing more of her in season 9.
All right.
So, yeah.
Dennis.
Thanks.
This season as a whole was really a return to form. 7 kind of, lost it with the whole Ag Hall thing and stuff like that. And this really is very Letterkenny. Even though it's only 19 minutes, there are a lot of interlocking skits that comprise this episode, but they're so well formed. And, you can nitpick them. There are, holes you could drive a truck through. But, they all add to the narrative that makes you care about the ending that they give you. And really what you have to question is, and I haven't heard a criticism of the end of the episode, the ending montage. We're all on the same page.
Yeah.
But can one scene damn or redeem an entire episode? The movie. If you don't like the ending, even though you love the movie, does it suck overall? And with this, I can't remember many experiences as a television viewer where I cared so much about the ending of an episode and sat there going, shit, it's on right now.
Yeah.
And like you said, we had to wait a friggin' year to see this resolved.
Yeah.
So for me, I've experienced a lot of random things in my life. So to impress me is a pretty tall feat sometimes. But the ending scene of that episode paid off so well for me that I can't remember many experiences like that. So there's something to be said for that. So for me, if for nothing else, the music, the pacing, all of those things really sold that episode for me to make it a fresh.
Awesome. All right. That's great. I mean, it's good to have diverging opinions here. So we'll move on now to MVPs. And I'm about to pull a Tanya because I haven't even thought about who my MVP would be this.
Why is that pulling a Tanya? That's not fair.
Really? Really?
No, you know what? Okay, I'm going to give my MVP. I know who I'm giving my MVP to Wayne. Wayne was great in this episode, from the face off with Dierks at the beginning of the bar, grabbing him by the chin, and I can't wait to get you, to his flirting with Rosie, to his timing with Marie Fred, to just everything, and then calling everyone together to go beat up on Dierks. It's Wayne. I think this is Wayne's episode for sure. So my MVP is Wayne. Victor?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Wayne's the anchor. Everything ties back to him, and for me, the reason I have to give it to Wayne is, the comeuppance, right? Right. This is what we've been building. This is from the first moment that he met Dierks. He's been waiting to get the comeuppance from that very, very first moment. From that first glance, and we allegedly that is going to happen, because I have no idea what's going to happen in episode 1 of the next season.
Katy should.
I'm hoping they're not going to do one of those, they're going to, it looks like they're running towards him, but then they run past him to get the degens, because whatever, there's something stupid like that. So we'll see. I have no idea, but it looks like he's gonna get what he's been waiting for from the very first.
Say it one last time. Go ahead.
Come up.
Oh, failed.
Nailed it.
Tan, who's your MVP?
110%. It was Wayne. Absolutely. His flirting, his like threats to Dierks, getting everything that you guys have said.
Even in the cold open, his turning around, going, oh, fucking.
Yeah, just
he
total.
He was the best part of the cold open.
Yeah.
Total, just perfect. AA plus. Yeah.
Matt?
So I guess this makes our first MVP unicorn.
Oh.
It's clearly Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And everything start to finish. There's not much more to say. You guys nailed it.
Yeah.
He carried it. He saw it from day one. The moment he met Dierks, it'd be rude of us and unruly of us to not give it to him, because he carried through and he saw it and he protected his sister and he's there. And I love the guy. And he came through this episode.
I love too, though, that he never let Katy see it. Like he just let her make her decision.
Yeah.
And he when
he has
Gail's
so much
like,
trust in
oh,
her.
here comes Katy. Like he was like,
that was a great little touch in that scene as well.
Yeah.
I like that as well.
Yeah, it's a weird. I think we talked about this with last episode, the one where he has his trust in her, and he's like, he's willing to let her make her mistakes, and she's a big girl, and she'll figure it out, and he'll be there to support her.
Yeah,
regardless of the outcome, he's there.
Yeah.
And it's a weird it's a very genuine kind of loyalty, and I think it really shows a lot about his character. So yeah, he gets it.
Okay, and Dennis, your MVP.
I'm going to give a strong honorable mention to McMurray. I don't know what but any episode where he has more than 30 seconds of dialogue, just like Glenn, it's always their episode to me when they have a chance to really, play some of their character traits. But like all of you have said, the catalyst by which all of these interlocking skits work, the linchpin is Wayne.
Yeah.
This is very much a Wayne-centric episode, and he nails every scene, every portion of this episode, so it shows you why he's the anchor of the show itself.
All right, great. We're gonna move on to top 5, and this should probably be pretty quick because it does not make my top 5. Victor? Nope. Tanya?
No.
And Matt?
Well, do we want to talk about my last week's
We will
top?
in a second. So this one here, does this one make your top 5?
This is why we should have pre-production meetings.
No, this is you just have to listen. You just have to pay attention.
wait, Matt doesn't like being told no.
So yes or no to this one? No. All right. And Dennis,
Alan.
You've given us your top 5 in the past. Does this one make your top 5?
No.
All right, cool. Now let's move on to, or before we get to well, no, I guess we should. This is top 5 related, so we'll do this first.
Oh, it's your show, Al.
Matt, you said you were going to watch your top 5? Did you watch your top 5?
I did.
Have you made your decision as to which one is going to be? Okay, so before you let us know, I ran the Twitter poll. The Twitter poll was, which episode do you think Matt will drop from his top 5 to make room for Holy Sheet? So Dick's Slip Out was 11.1%, so the lowest. Relationships 18.5%. A Fuss at the Golf Course 33.3%, but the majority at 37%, just slight majority at 37%, people thought you would drop Yard Sale Saturday. So which one are you dropping?
Well, clearly people don't know me as well as they think they do. It is not Yard Sale Saturday.
Oh,
wow.
I had something. I mean, I'm trying to keep myself a balanced top 5. And I went back and I watched them and I laughed. Listen, Yard Sale Saturday, when you open a scene with Alexander talking about toilets, I'm like, I can't take him out of there because I love that scene so much. And there's so much more to the episode. But that one, there's only room on my list for.
I have to watch that scene on the repeat 37 times. And it was funny every single time.
Right?
And Tanya was offended.
I came to a hard decision that there's only room on my list for one Dick episode.
Oh.
So I am going to remove Dick Slip Out.
Really?
And replace it
Oh my god!
You're a
Holy
one dick
shit.
kind of guy.
I watched it again and I laughed. And yes, I'm a one dick kind of guy. And
I'm gonna say I'm relieved because I thought it was gonna be relationships, and I mean I can't,
You thought he was going to stick two dicks up there?
No, I just there's too many. There'd be too many dicks on my list.
Too many dicks aren't good. You got
We're not
dicks
playing
here,
swords
there,
here
and
on this
everywhere.
All right. I did run another Twitter poll last week because I just wanted to hear the answer. In your opinion, which word is more offensive, cunt or gash? And this one got 41 votes. A lot of people voted on this one.
Passionate one.
Yeah, it was And so cunt won with 63.4% as the more offensive. And here's some comments. So Be Free said, depend on if I'm being called one or if you're referring to one. Eric said, neither. I think all terms for sex organs are pretty weird, awkward, more weird or awkward than offensive. In my opinion, if a person got offended by a word describing human body, they aren't comfortable with the human body. Demon does, our buddy there. He says, you can't fully spell out the first one. So ... meaning he thinks it's cunt. And he's right. Like I spelled cunt C with asterisk and T and gash. I spelled
so you can't even spell it.
Right. Well, because cunt only has one meaning. Gash has multiple meanings. So I'm uncomfortable typing out.
I've never heard of it called a gash.
Well,
never.
That too.
Never.
And then Drew says, well, considering at 16, I got mad at my mom and called her the first one, and she nearly took my head off my shoulders. I'm going to go with that one. Smiley face.
Oh.
So cunt is the winner for the most offensive, more offensive than gash.
It's a hard, because it's the T. I don't know. It's a K and the T.
I don't know.
I
still find
hard.
gash to be
gash.
Weird.
Really?
Especially,
I didn't know that was even a thing until
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh no, I've heard it.
For me, a gash is a gash that you get
gash
when you
is
fall
like
off your skateboard.
Yeah, you get a gash in your knee.
I thought maybe like the Brits too. They use cunt like punctuation.
Who
right?
uses gash?
I've heard it used, but it's always it's always in a very weird context. Anyway, so those are the two polls we ran last week. Let's play a little bit of Guess of the Future. Everyone can play except for Dennis and I. We'll start with Victor. What do you think, or what would you like to see happen next season?
Well, I don't know. I think
this is your chance to use the word again. Go ahead.
Yeah. So first, I think we've had enough of Murray Fred. We don't need to see her anymore.
Mm-hmm.
She can go away. Let's focus on Rosie now.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of I definitely want to see the comeuppance. I hope that it's just, I feel like, in reality, like when you have 30 on one or whatever the numbers are, it's almost like okay, well, that's going to last 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like what? Yeah. So I don't know. Like I just can't even imagine how that's going to play out. They're not going to show us how he's getting beaten up by 30 people.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested in what that actually is going to be, and that's why I'm almost like scared that there's going to be Ginger and Boots behind him, and that's and they're going to stop them from attacking him or something like that. I don't know. It's just I'm worried that they're gonna go sideways somehow with that, and we're not gonna get our comeuppance. So we'll see.
10. What do you want to see?
I totally know what's going to happen.
Oh,
because exactly what Victor just said. 30 people are not going to jump one person, even though they would totally do it in a heartbeat. Katy's going to put her arms out and she's going to say, stop. And she's going to yell because she's going to be like flashed awake. And she's going to say, stop. And then she's going to say, he's mine. And then she's going to go up to him and just,
box him.
Yeah. She's going to take him.
You know what? I would put Al's lunch on that one.
You like that one?
My lunch.
I'm like, yeah, because you're totally right. 30 people aren't going to take him down. She's going to, or she's like, he's not worth it or something. She's going to be like, she's going to somehow stop it. And I don't know whether she'll take her shot on it.
She'll cock her own arm.
She'll cock her own arm. Yeah.
Matt. What do you want to see next season?
I like those. Those are good theories. I feel like we're not going to see any of it. It's just going to play an assumption, but we're going to get the aftermath.
Matt knows.
What?
Don't you know?
No, he doesn't know.
I thought you watched it on Christmas when it came out, or Boxing Day, or whatever it was.
He did not.
Oh,
No.
My bad.
Al
My
was
bad.
the only.
I'm the only one. I'm the only DGen.
my bad.
Me and Dennis here, my buddy
Yeah,
Dennis.
we've held strong.
I'm not calling Dennis a DGen.
All right.
But yeah, no, it's. I thought they're good theories. I'm expecting an angry Katy next season. She put her heart out there. She was ready to dive in, and this happened. I feel like we're going to see a different personality side of her. Potentially some international rivalry. Now that we've crossed border and picking fights in Michigan, I don't know. Does Michigan have what it takes? I don't know.
Well, if they have Dennis on their side, we're fucked.
I know. They're gonna bring Dennis over.
Yeah.
That's why he's been so active in our show. He's like, I'm in season 9. and I'm hoping to see more Glenn. I miss Glenn.
Yeah.
He comes every time he makes an appearance. He's just wonderful, and I'd like to see him get a bit of a story. I don't know what. I just want to see them give him more of a story again, and I don't know if that'll happen, but that's what I'd like to see.
All right, cool.
Very cool.
Very cool. Very
cool.
Very smooth.
I can't stop myself. I keep on doing it. It's terrible.
Moving on to some listener comments. We got lots of listener comments this week. This couple from our new friend Brian Tan. First one, I laughed so hard at this Dierks episode, I'm half tempted to invite you for my wedding in April, LOL. And then
why are Dierks out? The last name's Dick?
I think he just feels like he knows us well enough to put us on the list. And also he said, Al hurts my heart during Produce Stand Pod when he cuts down Shorzy versus Riley and Jonesy, but it means all the more. So he's trying to catch up, trying to get to our seat. He's getting there. Mike, our buddy Mike, this one here is for you, Tanya. In reference to Yard Sale Saturday, I grew up with a speech impediment and went through years of speech therapy for it. And I thought the cold open was hilarious. Just saying, LOL. So that was from Mike. Finally got a Victor's MVP correct. Nick's Instagram was far too excited when I got it right. That was from Miss Goddess. Catching up on I love that people get so excited about that. Catching up on Produce Stand Pod on our road trip to Pittsburgh. So funny. Letterkenny fan, check it out. That's what I appreciate. It's about you. That's from Heather McCabe. Thank you, Heather. Produce Stand just finished the podcast. You know, sometimes there's too much cock talk and a podcast ought to be aware of it. Just kidding. That was a great episode. Very nice. Very cool. That's from our buddy Jason C. He's talking about the Barcelo cock.
We never took a picture of them.
Oh, yeah, we still have to do that. And finally, from Steve, the music during the scene. This is about tonight's episode. The music during the scene really amped up what was about to happen. I almost cried right at the end watching all of them run to defend Katy. Thank you, Steve, for the comment and for listening. Amazing. So many comments this week. So thank you all for taking the time. So I guess we are on to final thoughts, and it's again down to me. Dennis, amazing. Thank you so much for stepping in tonight and filling in. We never got to talk about anything, any of your other escapades, but because I didn't have time to prepare. So next time we, have something good, a really good story prepared for us. Although for those of you who listened to the pre-show, Dennis told a great story of being Tom Cruise's bodyguard at whose party was it?
It was at Jimmy Kimmel's house. I wasn't actually Tom Cruise's bodyguard.
Oh,
but I was there as security. But
okay. So you're at Jimmy Kimmel's house doing security, and Tom Cruise. So if you're not a patron, you don't get to hear this gold that Dennis dropped on us tonight. But man, it's a story. Thank you so much, man. It's always fun, and I'm so happy we were able to get you in this season because we didn't have you scheduled, and it hurt that we didn't have you scheduled. So it was great to have you come on. This is an amazing, epic episode, and I hope you guys can appreciate how long Letterkenny fans had to wait to see what happened next, and the pain, and that's kind of what spawned this podcast. Like this is when I started doing the podcast, was just killing time until that episode could drop or season 9 could drop. So thanks for sticking with it. Victor, your final thoughts.
Yeah, well, Dennis, you can, I guess, add another layer to your onion because now you're a pinch hitter as well. So, thanks. So thanks for coming in and doing a great job as if this was all planned. So, wonderful. Your authenticity is just is always welcome, and you don't pull any punches. So, really appreciate that. In terms of can't wait to have you back and get a little more insight into your circus that is your life. So in terms of this season, really great season. The last 3 episodes leading up to this one, where I believe they were all freshes. I think they were close to being unicorns amongst all of us. So that was just a really great streak. This last one was, wasn't, had some holes in it, but it had a really, really strong finish. And I think of all the finales, at least this might be the strongest finale of an episode. So, maybe not the strongest episode, but the way that it ended probably, I feel, had the most impact.
Yeah, I don't disagree. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like that's that's great. I'm also happy I don't have to suffer like everyone else did in terms of waiting a year through COVID to get the next season. So really looking forward to our I guess we'll have to wait an extra week because we're going to do our egg haul and our episode
recap
with Giles and whatnot. But that's okay. It's a small suffering. Anyway, so really looking forward to all that. And Dennis, thanks again for doing what you do.
Dennis, thank you so much. I love your intros. Oh my God, you are like superhero at starting us off. I think they are amazing. I don't know whether you do those just for us or whether you have those like as your like prior life and coming into the to the wrestling ring or whatever, but they are so perfect. And my God, you've got such gifts. You're incredible. Absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for coming on. Such a pleasure seeing you again and again. I think that this whole episode and that everyone kind of stopped for 1 year and there was that pause on this episode. I think it was perfect. Like, this is such a powerhouse Wayne episode. And again, fresh for me over and over again. That to pause on Wayne being so like predominant in the episode, I think that was a great way to kind of pause it. I'm sure it drove everybody nuts because it's driving me nuts, and I want to see what happens next. I can understand everybody's frustration with that and in eagerness to watch the next one. So looking forward to it, and having fun Thursday after Thursday, week after week, and fantastic that we're here.
Matt.
Yeah, it's so fun. Dennis, I got so excited. You should have seen him when I popped on. He couldn't hear me or he couldn't respond. I don't know, but I was like, hey, and I was really excited. It was such a fun surprise. Sometimes we know who's going to be with us. Sometimes we don't. This was we didn't. But I love everyone who comes on the show. This is such a fun community, and I so appreciate everyone. This season, as you call it as well, welcome back, Letterkenny. This was a great bounce back following the debacle that was season 7. They tried something, had some moments, but all in, it wasn't fantastic by any means. So welcome back. I look forward to where this is going. I do want to make one comment. I did listen back to most of our episode from last week. I've picked out our own MVPs amongst us on certain episodes. Tanya, you were 100% the MVP of last episode. I don't know if you used to run a sex line or something, but you nailed it. And
I nailed it.
You were on fire one after another.
I think somebody in DM group also gave her the MVP for that episode.
Oh my God. I was dying. So well done to you, Al. Well done to you.
Oh my gosh. That's
I'm a lucky man.
hilarious.
All right. And the last word goes to our guest, Dennis.
As always, I'm humbled and honored to have been offered the opportunity to hop on here. That you feel that I have something to contribute means a lot to me. I try to be a fervent fan and provider of certain pieces of introspection and reflection on some of these episodes. And it's nice to have the opportunity to discuss something that I care about.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys providing a forum, you're providing a service beyond just the podcast itself. You're giving people the opportunity to really delve into something and share an experience. And for all of you listening, check the podcast out on Twitter. Check out, Yes, We're Open. There are things outside of this podcast. Matt and Al both contribute, and it's nice to hear their voices on something else, and
not being not being goofs and making dick jokes.
Right.
Yeah,
it's a very NPR format, but
yes, it is.
It serves a necessary function, especially in the climate that we're in, to see how businesses bounce back. Yeah, just like to bring it full circle, Letterkenny came back too. It kind of lost its way for a minute. This was a return to form, and this really shows you the years that you've put in as a fan to watch this show, to establish a relationship with some of these characters and how much you care, or that ending wouldn't matter to you as much.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it tells me they've done a good job of making me care about these people, care about the show, the community that we're a part of. And, we really care when is done wrong, so thank you for the opportunity, and honored as always to be here.
Awesome. Well said. All right. I'm going to play us off with the song from that montage. It's called Do It, Try It. And the band is M83. Oh, let me start it from the beginning. One job. And that's all we have for this episode. Join us next week and we'll have our regular end of season recap with our buddy Dean Giles. Don't forget to give our sponsor Diabolical Coffee some love. They are diabolicalcoffee.com. Right now you can use a promo code as Matt models his t-shirt. Promo code ProduceStand or just ProduceStand for 10% off any purchase from their site. If you'd like to support our podcast, rate us on iTunes or become a patron. There's a Patreon link on our site or Twitter profile at ProduceStandPod. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at ProduceStandPod. Thanks for joining us. Now we're going to drive down to Michigan to have a go at that no good two-timing Dierks. On behalf of Dennis, Matt, Victor, Tanya, and myself, thank you for listening and have a great week.